Today we're going to talk about stress and what it does during different life stages of a child born, even in the mother's womb, all the way through being a teenager. Hey, I'm Dr. Randy Wirtz in Thrive Chiropractic, and I've seen so many people just inundated with stress. Now, stress can be in many forms. We categorize it in three different categories. First of all, physical stress, toxic stress, or emotional stress. So we call those the three T's in chiropractic world: thoughts, traumas, and toxins. Now, the longer we are inundated with stress, the longer it'll carry out and have more damage through life. And then plus, the more severe, definitely it's going to affect the nervous system in a different way. And on top of that, the younger the child is exposed to this excessive stress, the more damage it'll do, because the child and a baby is more susceptible to stress when their nervous system is developing rather than when we're adults and it's hardwired. So I'm going to take you on this journey. I'm going to talk to you about how stress shows up in your child all throughout infant to toddler to adolescence to teens as well. Even before that child was born, though, there had to be a stress. They were subjected to the stress and the mother goes through. So, hey, if mother's stressed, if there's some complications during pregnancy, especially in that last trimester, the baby's nervous system is developing. So we have to understand that a lot more passes through that umbilical cord than just blood and nourishment or late night tacos that mom has a craving for. But a lot more passes through that than just the food. It is actually cortisol, and cortisol is a stress hormone. So we start to see that if there's an increase of cortisol into the mom, that's actually going to program the baby. Actually, moms can actually, when they're really excessively stressed, can take cortisol from the baby and pull from the baby and make them turn into really just does a number on that nervous system too when the mom's in excessive stress during pregnancy as well. So we have to understand that even in the mother's womb that there's going to be problems. Now, what does this look like? Baby comes in, they're stuck in fight or flight. Well, if there's a traumatic birth involved too, or if there's a birth complications, that adds another notch. So we're down here, we have a stressful pregnancy. And then we have a stressful labor and delivery, okay? Maybe really fast delivery where they can't get all those reflexes, or really long delivery where they're having to use a C-section where they're lifting the baby up by the head. Well, that puts physical stress on that child. Now you start to see this as colic. You start to see this as not sleeping well because their body just cannot settle down. And who can eat or drink anything with a tummy that is just upset? Think about it. You never felt like eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich before you sang in front of somebody or before you talked in front of somebody. Your stomach gets nervous. They get a nervous stomach as well, and they can't digest their food as well. So constipation will be a result too. Well, this doesn't just say, hey, they'll grow out of it. Actually, what it grows into is meltdowns. Yes, big emotions. I can't control my emotions. And so we're living in those children are living through a state of stress, and so they can't understand the world around them as well. So they're reacting rather than responding. So we see stuck over here, and it builds on to the next stage. Now, when they get into school and the boys are asked to sit down and they're stuck and they can't sit still, well, we call them problem children, right? The boys are being disruptive. They're being argumentative. They're getting in clashes because their body isn't programmed. Boys will tend to have more movement disorders where I have to be moving, or if I can't move, that's the problem too. So boys will do that. Girls will tend to start leaning towards anxiety and worry, those types of issues, mood disorders, because that's just how our brains and the difference between boys and girls are set up, especially when it comes to school. So girls are going to be like, hey, I'm not in the friend group, I'm not there's some emotions involved, and there's relationship stuff, where boys are more towards like, I have to sit still, I can't move, I can't control my movements. Those types of things is what we start to see when we get into the school age. Now, by the time the kids get to teenager, they're just exhausted. You know, their nervous system is going and going and going all too long. It's like having their foot on the gas pedal all their life, and they just can't keep up with that anymore. They become exhausted. They want to regress. They don't feel like going out and socializing because, you know, quite frankly, I don't have the energy for it. You know, I don't feel like talking because I don't have the energy for it. Those types of things where we just withdraw because we just are just the nervous system is tapped out. It can't go out. So they're living through a state of burnout. And school's harder for them because it's harder to concentrate as well. And then likewise, those kids will turn into burned out adults too. And so each stage lends some different type of stress, whether it's teens and the bullying, whether it's like not able to sit still in the classroom when they're in the elementary school age, or just these big emotions we have, or the colic we have. All those start to add up to a child that's stuck in stress. So you see, the diagnosis may change, but the problem is still the same. It's a nervous system that's locked in stress. And that's what we do here. That's what I start to look at is how do we relieve that nervous system that's stuck in stress? So how do we do that? We take and put on the gas pedal. We start getting rid of, letting that nervous system release that stress through a series of chiropractic adjustments, which we call the care plan here. And then it settles that nervous system down. So think of it like a defibrillator for the heart, where it's like resetting the nervous system. And now those old habits, those old patterns can start to rewire, and they can also start to restore and function and build up more good habits as the body releases bad habits. Hey, I hope this makes sense to you. But if you know, or if your child is stuck, I don't want you to just make sense to you. I want you to act on it, because there is hope. And it's a drugless solution to a problem that's been long occurring. And let's face it, the stress in this world is getting more prevalent day by day. Hey, if I can be of help for you, please let me know. Send this to somebody that might be a help to them as well. God bless. Have a wonderful day.